Oil and Gas Safety Officer Interview Questions. What is confined space? Any enclosure having a limited means of entry and exit and it is not designed for continuous occupancy. There will be a presence of any hazardous substances such as flammable and toxic gases, oxygen deficiency, hot or humid atmosphere or any combination of it. Examples: process vessels, tanks, bins, stacks, large pipe, duct, pits and trench etc. Any excavation with depth more than 1.2 meters. What are the confined space hazards? A confined space may have one or a combination of the following hazards. Oxygen deficiency. Presence of flammable, combustible or pyrophoric materials, HC, sludge, etc. Presence of toxic gases, corrosive or hazardous materials, H2S, TWA, NH3 etc. Poor illumination, ventilation and communication. High temperature and humidity. Limited entry and exit, restricted access. Restricted movement inside. Falling, tripping hazards. Presence of reactive or self-igniting material. Hazard due to electricity or moving machinery. Hazard due to pressurized fluid. Hazard due to the nature of work carried out inside confined space. What is the procedure for entering a confined space hazards? 1. Permit must be procured for operations, making sure of the following. A. Complete isolation of the space to be entered. B. Draining, depressurization, and purging or cleaning should be performed. C. The gas tests should be conducted to ensure no hazardous atmosphere is present. D. Space ventilation. 2. A pre-task meeting must be conducted with all authorized entrants prior to entering confined space. 3. The attendant, standby man, shall be assigned at the entrance to maintain communication with employees working inside to ensure their safety. A logbook shall be maintained at the entrance to keep track of the people inside the space. 4. Safety attendant must be trained and authorized to use gas testing equipment. 5. Entrants must wear body harness, and if necessary a lifeline be attached to the harness to avoid entry rescue. 6. Lighting should be provided, if necessary a maximum of 24 volts. Lighting should be used attached to GFCI. 7. Only intrinsically safe or explosion-proof equipment shall be used inside. 8. Depending on the situation, emergency rescue team may be put on standby. 9. If an emergency occurs within the confined space, the standby person must not enter it until rescue team arrived. 10. Barricade the area with a warning signboard. What you know about working in a confined space entry. Any enclosure having a limited means of entry and exit and it is not designed for continuous employee occupancy. Before entering the confined space, just need to obtain a confined space entry work permit, make sure that all required isolation being done. Frequently gas test is to be carried out to confirm that area is free of toxic gas or flammable atmosphere. If the area is contaminated or it has oxygen deficiency, the provided BA sets or airline respiratory system. Conduct pre-task meetings for the employees who will be entering inside their confined area and get the signature to confirm that they are aware of their hazards and safety measures. The attendant, standby man, to assigned at the entrance. A logbook shall be maintained at the entrance to keep track of the people inside the space. Their attendant shall not be assigned to other duties. If an emergency occurs within their Confined space, the standby person must not enter it until rescue team arrived. The entering people should use body harness with a lifeline for the emergency rescue purpose. Any required electrical lighting or tools should not exceed more than 24 volts and attached with GFCI/ELCB. It should be intrinsically safe or explosive proof. Barricade the area with warning signboard. Explain H2S. Or what are H2S and its characteristics? Explain. H2S is produced or generated by the decomposition of organic materials. It is a highly toxic gas and highly flammable. It smells like a rotten egg at low concentrations and not detectable by odor at high concentration. It is highly flammable. Flammable at 4.3% to 45.5% by volume in air. It is colorless. It is heavier than air. It is highly soluble in water and other liquid. When burned or flared it forms sulfur dioxide, SO2, which is also colorless and highly toxic gas. The exposure limits 10 ppm is the maximum allowed for 8 hours. Increasing exposure will cause headache and irritation of eyes. 800 ppm or more will be instantly fatal. Exposure limit. TLV-TWA of H2S equals 10 parts per million. TLV-STEL of H2S equals 15 parts per million. IDLH of H2S equals 100 parts per million. Note, up to 10 parts per million work can be done without the respiratory protection system. 10 to 100 parts per million work can be done by SCBA or air-lined breathing apparatus. Above 100 parts per million work not permitted, allowed only for rescue. What are the prominent H2S hazards? H2S hazards. Eyes and respiratory irritation. Dizziness, headache, nausea, abdominal pain. Loss of consciousness, brain damage possible, death, fatal. Explain the precautionary measures to be taken while approaching H2S prone area. Precautionary measures, H2S. A sufficient number of escape masks shall be kept in areas where H2S is liable to present. In case H2S presence is suspected in an area, the persons must put on an escape mask immediately and the toxic gas test must be made immediately with an appropriate detector to determine the concentration of H2S in air. Working person should be equipped with personal detectors and alarming devices to alert in case of H2S presence. In case of H2S alarm, all personnel should vacate the area after donning the escape set, breathing apparatus and report to the designated assembly point for mustering. If working in H2S contaminated atmosphere must wear suitable BA set and work in pairs to support and rescue each other in the event of difficulties. Know the wind direction and evacuate in the crosswind direction in case of H2S leak. Never go to a low-lying area during H2S leak. Paste H2S warning sign in H2S prone areas. The presence or suspected of H2S in any part of the plant or sewer shall be reported immediately to the supervisor and respective area fire station for arranging rescue and support. How to treatment of persons affected by H2S. Positive pressure breathing apparatus must be worn by any person attempting a rescue. The victim must be immediately moved to fresh air, possibly in the upwind direction of the gas leak. The rescuer must be outside the contaminated area before removing her personal BA set. If the victim has stopped breathing, resuscitation must be started immediately, using artificial respiration or a resuscitator if available. Resuscitation must be continued until the victim starts breathing unaided or until qualified medical assistance arrives. Medical help must be summoned as soon as possible. Define TLV-TWA, STEL and IDLH. TLV-TWA. Time-weighted average, TWA, concentrate on the contaminant in air over the normal work shift of 8 hours, to which workers can be exposed without respiratory protection. In a 40-hour work week. TLV STEL. Short-term exposure limit, STL, when exposed only for a short period of 15 minutes. This maximum concentration can be allowed to breathe 4 times during 8 hours with a minimum 1-hour interval between exposures. IDLH. Minimum concentration of contaminant in the air which is immediately dangerous to life and health. Note, air-supplied respirators are required in IDLH atmospheres. What is flash point, FP? The minimum temperature at which a flammable mixture of gas or vapor in the air will momentarily flash when a source of ignition, spark, is introduced. What is auto-ignition temperature, AIT? The minimum temperature required to initiate self-sustained combustion of a solid, liquid or gas in the absence of a source of ignition. WAD IL/LFL and UL/UFL. Lower explosive limit, LEL, or lower flammable limit. Minimum concentration of vapor or gas in air which will burn when a source of ignition, spark, is introduced. Upper explosive limit, UL, or upper flammable limit. Maximum vapor, gas to air concentration above which flame propagation will not occur. That is, the mixture is too rich to burn. Note 1, flammable gas detectors, meters, measure percentile, hence actual means 100% of full-scale reading of the meter. Below, 100% of meter reading, A. Mixture is too lean to burn. Note 2, of airborne combustible dust, if the dust obscures vision at a distance of 5 feet, 1.52 meters, or less, it is considered as IDLH, sulfur or coke.
Please give comment and suggestions.
Thank you.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank for visit our channel. See you next class.
Thank you.